enough. She probably had it coming.
Enough, but he said he was sorry.
Enough, but he's really such a nice guy.
Enough. He only gets like that when he's been drinking.
Enough. He didn't really mean it.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Sam Page, reminding you that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Here in Rockingham County, we have zero tolerance for domestic violence. If you hit someone you claim to love, you will be arrested, you will go to jail, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Enough is enough.
I'm Angie Bowles.
I'm Pastor Steve Griffith.
I'm Julie Gentry.
I'm Craig Blitzer.
I'm Nora Salinas.
Enough is enough. Together we stand against domestic violence in Rockingham County.
All right, folks. Yes, enough is enough. October is Domestic Violence Month, and here to talk with me are Angie Bowles, Director of H.E.L.P Incorporated here in Rockingham County, and Sheriff Sam Page, who will lock you up if you don't behave yourself.
That's right.
But that's
Thank you, Deb.
So, first, what is Domestic Violence Month? Angie?
Well, Domestic Violence Awareness Month is just a month that nationally has been, selected to bring awareness to this horrible issue that we still have. And of course, the movement has been going on for many, many years. But this is just a way that to kind of consolidate our activities as domestic violence service providers and the community, just to get the word out. It's a perfect time for the Enough is Enough PSA, and thank you, Sheriff,
You're welcome.
for
Thank
that.
you for participating.
But anyway, we're excited about it.
Well, I was excited when I saw the PSA because sometimes less is more.
That's right.
That's right.
And the way that was done was beautiful.
Yeah,
Loved it.
when you can say something in a minute or less, and it gets that message out that we just saw about how dangerous it is, deadly it is, about how a lot of our women are abused out here in our communities. I think the message was well taken. Well taken.
I agree, and it was said with dignity.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Which is what we're all about. In truthfulness, I have to say, I am also on the board of H.E.L.P Incorporated. I am the current vice chair, so this is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. But we wanted to kick off Domestic Violence Month here and just talk a little bit about the programs and services, too, that are available from H.E.L.P Incorporated.
Sure. I'll go ahead and just start. Everybody kind of knows us for the shelter.
The Freedom House, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course we do have that, and we serve probably 150 residents a year in our shelter. But overall we have anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500 clients that come through our office for various other services,
right?
Like our court advocacy. Advocacy through law enforcement, through the hospital system or medical systems. We have counseling, clinical services, groups that meet. We have an awesome group right now that one of our counselors started for children who've been victims of trauma, and it's an evidence-based model she's using, so we're really excited about that. We continue to add more services to better help victims become survivors and just really be productive members of our society, happy and healthy. That's what we want, happy and healthy.
So, Sheriff, where does your group come in?
Well, I have to go back. Angie has been with H.E.L.P Incorporated a long time, and I can tell you that I can go back more than 30 years how domestic violence cases were handled, investigated, and how they were viewed. And I've seen
it was her fault back then, right?
The thing was, it wasn't as viewed as a serious. We have zero tolerance now,
right, to
domestic violence and domestic assault. But you go back 30 years ago, it was viewed differently. Back then, you were taught that arrest was not the best measure. Separate the parties, convince the party to leave, and hopefully they'll work itself out. Right. Counseling maybe, but now it's progressed to it is a crime. People do die every day in America,
yes,
and every day across our state due to domestic violence cases. You see it all the time, and so we want to make sure we do our part to save lives. And part of the education and awareness is to talk about it and let people know that we in law enforcement across the county we take a zero tolerance to domestic violence. If you are involved in a domestic assault and we have probable cause to believe that you have committed that offense, we shall arrest you. And so you will get arrested. And so the zero tolerance message we've been pushing out for several years now, but I've seen it come a long ways. You know, back in the early days, H.E.L.P Incorporated was basically a helpline.
That's true.
And so, you know, watching it has progressed in Reedsville in the early days to where we're at now. I mean, back in the 80s, if we had to take someone to a shelter, we didn't have a shelter in Rockingham County.
Yeah.
It wasn't until '94 that we get our shelter here, where we could provide the services for, you say, for over 2,000 people. Yeah, and that's kids and that's families that come through our system, and then also the expansion with the Child Advocacy Center, and all the different services, which I know you're going to talk about. So we're excited about it. But I'm also on the board.
Yes, he is.
I'm also on the board, and you know, and H.E.L.P Incorporated is supported by the United Way of Rockingham County.
Yes.
And we appreciate your support and your donation to help us operate the program. But again, like I said, I remember before we had a shelter, and what we had to do. Take children to you know, we had supportive agencies such as Salvation Army, and who would help fund to take persons and families to our local hotels and stuff. And I always wondered about, you know, we were taking them
from their homes.
Yeah, from their homes, put them in a safe location. Then, well, what afterwards? What aftercare was there?
Yeah.
But we've seen it go from not a whole lot now to a tremendous amount of aftercare. Because I know when somebody calls me and they're telling me, hey, I think my daughter or my child is a victim of a domestic situation, domestic assault situation, or living in a bad environment like that, and they ask for help, I can say, look, let me give you the number, and it's confidential, and they will help you, and you know what? It won't cost you anything.
That's right.
And I think truly the more knowledge we have of the program, the more lives we can save here in Rockingham County, and more families we can help.
Yeah.
I agree.
And the more victims we can help.
I agree.
Well, let's talk about where it goes after they're arrested. We have advocates, court advocates.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about our court advocates.
Well, normally the great thing about Rockingham County is that we have this great collaboration.
Right.
You know, it's not just law enforcement pushing, you know, the message. It's not just the DA's office pushing the message. It's not just social services pushing the message, and our county government. And we have so many people that's on board with this, that when you know, a law enforcement officer may respond to a scene and we're called out.
Right.
You know,
because you're 24/7 hotline.
That's right. If one of the officers or a detective needs us, you know, we'll be there. Normally what it is a referral, because they are safe for the night, because law enforcement has made that possible, and then the next day we'll receive the phone call, and then they come into us and we talk to them about their options for being safe. And one of them is a protective order,
which is a 50B. Is
50B.
That what it's called?
That's correct. And so our advocates will help the victim through the process of filling out the paperwork, you know, and being in court for emotional support. We're certainly not attorneys, but you know, it's just sometimes just having that person just in the courtroom is very helpful.
You're not by yourself.
Right.
You have somebody.
Exactly.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because we're such a mobile society anymore, we don't necessarily live near a parent or a grandparent or a sister or a brother. We are just dispersed all over the world now.
And most people do not really have a lot of interaction with our court system or our criminal justice system.
They don't know anything about it.
So it's new to a lot of people. But thank goodness to H.E.L.P Incorporate that when you go to them, the advocates can show you the way and help you to get to where you're trying to get to make sure you're safe and your family's safe.
Yeah. And sometimes they may not want to call. They may have a question about the case, and they're not comfortable necessarily calling the detective that may be handling the case. We help them with that. You know, we'll say, you know, hey, we know, you know, Mary Jane, or we know Steve, or, you know, I mean, we know these people personally, so we can say, don't be afraid. You can call. You can talk. They're truly caring, and they're gonna be honest with you, and they're gonna help you, because that's what they want too. Our goal, all our agency's goal, is healthy, happy families in Rockingham County. I mean, that's our goal, and you know, we all rally around that. So so we help them with that, and then of course if they need counseling for their children, or they're struggling, with something, or even financial assistance
Right.
for permanent housing. We have a rapid rehousing program that if they qualify, they may qualify for, most of them would, then we can help them with that. But also that emergency shelter, if they really, feel like they need to come, we're there, and that's like a whole agency in itself with all the services like life skill classes
Right.
and the transportation and everything that's involved when you come to Freedom House.
Well, before we run out of time, there are a couple of events coming up this month to honor. So let's talk quickly about those.
Okay, you want me to start?
You go ahead. Angie, go ahead. You go ahead.
The one that has been going on for many years is is a candlelight vigil for survivors, and it's the one time a year where we try to be very happy and positive. Because it is, we're recovering.
Right.
It's about success. However, this is a time where we remember the devastating effects of domestic violence, and we honor
Those that
the
did not
victims
survive.
and who's lost their lives because of domestic violence. Sarah Lawson puts this on every year for us, and it's at the First Baptist Church in Madison. And it's going to be October 15th, and at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay.
And so you'll hear stories of victims. You'll be able to participate. It's very uplifting. We're going to be, two of our staff members are going to be speaking. Peg Stevenson, our CAC coordinator,
Right.
as well as Deetra Humphrey. She is our human trafficking coordinator. So we're going to talk a little bit about human trafficking too. And so I hope everybody just comes out and takes part. It's very important for our community to do this.
That's good. That's good.
Is there any other events going on?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There's another event at St. Stephen's
That's
United Methodist Church in Madison, and that is on this coming Saturday from 11 to 2, and it's put on by the district women's group. And so there's also going to be someone there talking about self-defense. So that's always a great thing.
And if you remember the video, you just saw the public service announcement.
Right.
Enough is enough. One thing is, a lot of people say, when I'm in crisis or I need help, what number do I call? Well, sometimes they want someone that knows law enforcement. They want to think about a name or a certain particular person. It's only one number. Just call 911.
Yeah. 911.
Get somebody there, because all of our officers and our deputies have worked with H.E.L.P Incorporated, and they're advocates. So everybody, we've got a good collaboration here. So we can talk to the persons and the victims, and then again, like I said, we can get the representatives out there. So again, 911 is the number you need to call if you need help.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We've just kicked off Domestic Violence Awareness Month for us here in Rockingham County. Remember, enough is enough. I'm Debbie Moore for Star News.
Enough. She probably had it coming.
Enough, but he said he was sorry.
Enough. But he's really such a nice guy.
Enough. He only gets like that when he's been drinking.
Enough. He didn't really mean it.
Hello, I'm Sheriff Sam Page, reminding you that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Here in Rockingham County, we have zero tolerance for domestic violence. If you hit someone you claim to love, you will be arrested, you will go to jail, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Enough is enough.
I'm Angie Bowles.
I'm Pastor Steve Griffith.
I'm Julie Gentry.
I'm Craig Blitzer.
I'm Nora Salinas.
Enough is enough. Together we stand against domestic violence in Rockingham County.